Welcome back to Interesting Day, fellow adventurers. Today we are going to unveil the mystery of one of Leonardo da Vinci's most renowned artworks, his portrayal of the Last Supper, created during the 15th century. While artists before him had also depicted this sacred scene from the life of Christ, Leonardo's approach was undeniably distinctive. Join us as we uncover the intriguing secrets concealed within Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece, The Last Supper. Get ready for the enigmatic messages that lie beneath the surface of this iconic painting. During the period of the Italian Renaissance, art played a significant role in education and communication. Artists meticulously crafted their compositions, purposefully embedding hidden messages within their creations. Leonardo da Vinci, known for his adept use of subtle symbolism, adhered to this tradition. Just as the renowned 20th century director Alfred Hitchcock made brief appearances in numerous films, it is believed that Leonardo often included self-portraits in his artwork. Speculation even exists asserting that the enigmatic Mona Lisa portrays Leonardo's own imaginative depiction of himself as a woman. Contentiously, some individuals suggest that the Shroud of Turin, commonly associated with Christ, may actually be a Leonardo-created deception, featuring his own likeness instead. Within his magnum opus, The Last Supper, art experts proposed that the figure positioned as Thaddeus, also known as Jude, on the far right represents Leonardo himself, symbolically embodying the ancient apostle. Leonardo's renowned painting, The Last Supper, has sparked numerous conspiracy theories, delving into the interpretation of its various symbols and their significance. While some elements included in this masterpiece carry apparent meaning, other depicted symbols are undoubtedly intentional. However, when it comes to deciphering Leonardo's true intent, we can only speculate. So, let's explore the powerful messages conveyed by this iconic artwork. It holds great significance that the painting is situated on an end wall within the dining hall of the convent of Santa Maria de Grazia in Milan. It is fitting that a mural depicting the Last Supper is displayed in the dining area of a religious institution. The scene depicted in the painting captures the moment just after Christ surprised his apostles with the announcement of an impending betrayal. Unsurprisingly, Jesus takes center stage in the composition, forming a triangle with his body that symbolizes the Holy Trinity. The apostles are divided into 4 groups of 3, creating a symmetrical arrangement that further emphasizes the 3 persons of the Trinity. Even the presence of 3 windows behind Jesus has been interpreted by some as a representation of the Trinity. One of the most symbolic figures in the painting, apart from Jesus, is Judas Iscariot. Notice how his head is positioned lower than everyone else in the scene, symbolizing his descent into darkness. Additionally, Judas is the only character in the painting with a dark or shadowed complexion, emphasizing his role as the betrayer. He is depicted holding a bag of money, presumably the 30 pieces of silver he was paid to betray Jesus. Interestingly, Judas is portrayed as left-handed, which in ancient times was associated with sin and rejection of God. Left-handedness was considered a curse and a symbol of evil. By depicting Judas as left-handed, it suggests his role in foretelling Christ's fate and foreshadows his betrayal. A subtle detail in the painting is a knocked-over salt container, spilling its contents onto the table. In the book of Leviticus, salt symbolized the covenant, and Judas spilling the salt signifies the severing of his covenant relationship with Christ. It represents his departure from Christ and his apostleship. Salt also carried symbolism of purity, incorruptibility, fidelity, and friendship in ancient Christianity, all of which Judas ultimately rejected, hence the spilled salt. Another significant figure in Leonardo's hidden symbolism is Saint Peter, the chief apostle. He is depicted holding a knife near Judas's back, which can be interpreted in different ways. Some suggest that it symbolizes Judas's impending demise, while others view it as a foreshadowing of Peter's later act of cutting off the ear of Malchus, the servant of the high priest, during Jesus' arrest. This act can be seen as a potential symbol of divine justice. Another interesting detail is Peter's left hand placed at the throat of the person next to him, traditionally interpreted as John, the disciple whom Jesus loved. Some interpreters claim that this gesture represents a Masonic penal sign, symbolizing the tension between Peter and John, as described in the Gospel of St. John. One of the more controversial aspects of Leonardo's famous painting is the absence of halos around Jesus and his disciples. Unlike earlier depictions of the Last Supper, where Jesus and the disciples were traditionally portrayed with halos or nimbi, Leonardo chose not to include this symbol in his painting. This omission has led to various interpretations. Many believe that Leonardo's decision to exclude halos was his way of expressing skepticism and naturalism. It is thought that he may have had doubts about the divinity of Jesus and the inspired nature of his apostles. By omitting halos, Leonardo may have intended to portray the disciples as common people rather than saints and to depict Jesus as mortal rather than divine. This interpretation is further supported by the positioning of Thaddeus, represented by Leonardo's own image, turned away from Christ. Some see this as Leonardo's personal rejection of Jesus' divinity. Additionally, there is speculation that the figure traditionally identified as Doubting Thomas, located to the left of Jesus in the painting, may actually be a self-portrait of Leonardo. If this is the case, it would align with the notion that Leonardo himself had doubts. Two other notable features of Leonardo's painting are the way Jesus presents the bread of the Lord's Supper to the viewer, particularly the nuns of the Santa Maria del Grazie convent, and the original depiction of Jesus' feet in a cruciform style, symbolizing his impending crucifixion. These elements add depth and intrigue to the composition. Unfortunately, in 1652, a doorway was cut through the bottom of the painting, resulting in the removal of the cruciform symbol. The figure on Jesus' right in Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper has sparked controversy and speculation. While some argue that it could be Mary Magdalene, popularized by the Da Vinci Code, there are counterarguments to consider. The figure's appearance, with longer hair and a pale complexion, has been cited as evidence, but it's important to note that earlier paintings often depicted St. John as young and effeminate. Leonardo himself labeled the figure as John the Beloved in his notebooks, and it seems unlikely that the disciple whom Jesus loved would be omitted from the scene. The controversy surrounding this interpretation contributes to the ongoing discussions about the symbolism and meaning of the Last Supper. It is widely acknowledged that Leonardo da Vinci intentionally utilized symbols in his artwork, including the Last Supper. These symbols were meant to convey specific ideas or messages to the viewers. However, interpreting a painting, especially one as subjective as art, is often a matter of speculation. Ultimately, only the artist truly knows their intended meaning. The various theories surrounding the Last Supper highlight the extent to which interpreters are engaged in guesswork when attempting to understand the hidden symbols within this sacred scene.
What are your thoughts on these theories? Feel free to share your own interpretations and theories in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on Interesting Day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on our thrilling adventures. Keep exploring with Interesting Day.